Hello.
Stop. No spoiler alerts because the team knows how much we raise and the ladies don't know. So I wanted to introduce you guys to Jean and Janelle, and they're with Angel Reach. And so this is 1/3 of the team that's worked so hard to raise some money. This is everybody that's here in the office. And then our whole construction team worked on fundraising. They're all out in the field getting houses built, and our sales team as well, and our mortgage and title company, which is that 2-story building next door. They did a fundraiser as well. And so we did everything from having a cornhole tournament and a barbecue lunch for construction. We did a foot race with our construction manager.
Oh, I like that.
Into a race. We had
especially my foot.
Mild and moderate injuries. So we did that. We had some bake sales. We had raffles.
Oh, fun.
We had some of our vendors donated directly as well.
Wow.
Some of the vendors that helped us get the houses built. What else we did? We had a charity concert. There's Jill, Jill's daughter, is a singer, and she did a concert at one of the local bars.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Which
Ronnie G's.
Yeah, so she did a concert and donated. What else did
I
we
need
do,
to talk
guys?
to you.
Sweatshirts. We did custom sweatshirts from the land department.
We did a basketball tournament. Who said that?
Yeah.
Who
We
said
did
that?
bingo, like an online bingo. That's what
Kendra.
Mortgage did. There was a car wash.
I love this.
How long have you been doing this? Like all year?
All year?
No.
Before Thanksgiving.
Yes,
Yeah.
right before Thanksgiving. Right before Thanksgiving. We started.
By the way, you guys sound like great fundraisers, and we are doing an event in March, and we'll talk a little bit about it. Come see me if you want to be on my committee.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
Really fun. So I thought maybe you could just kind of tell, I mean, I've told them a little bit about the organization and all, and if you want to just give them a little bit of an idea of what it does and what the donation will help you guys with.
Absolutely, yes, okay. You can chip in at any point in time. We have been around in Conroe since about 2004. I won't go into a whole lot of, I don't want to give you all the boring stuff, but I want you to know that we've been around for a long time, since 2008 is when we became a 501c3. But everything we do and did back then, it was completely 100% volunteer run. So it has grown quite a bit over the last few years, and we're very grateful. So what we do, I'm sure you guys know to some extent anyway, is we work with kids who've aged out of the foster care system, which is between the ages of 16 and 24. They technically don't age out until they're 18, but the statistics are pretty rough for these young people. It's about half of them, 50% will end up on the streets, will end up homeless, 27% will end up incarcerated, about 60% will end up addicted to something. And the last one that I always like to share is that about 70% of the young women who age out of the foster care system will end up pregnant before they turn 21. And guess what? Their kids end up back in the CPS system. So our longer term, kind of deeper challenge and deeper mission is to break that generational cycle, right? So how do you do that? And we do a lot of work also with our kinship families, which are next to kin, doing their best to keep their kids out of the foster care system, right? And those kids typically do much better because they've got that connection, right? So we're trying to figure out ways to build and strengthen those families, and we support them and always have with basic needs. But now we're doing counseling, we're doing all kinds of engagement programs, and we have programs for the kids, and so it's a really awesome mission. I welcome you to all come up and do a tour, not at once. But we'd love to show you around. So we can show you a little bit, about what we do and how we do. We've got 4 homes. Our kids can live with us. We have an education program, an employment coordinator, and we have transportation,
Life
skills classes.
We have a food manager that teaches the kids cooking classes, nutrition, goes to the homes and teaches them, because many of these kids, if they've grown up in a group home, we call them residential treatment centers, RTCs, but they usually enter these homes if they are not fostered or adopted out at the age of 12. With COVID, this is a sad thing, but we have kids right now currently as young as 5 living in group homes, because a lot of people didn't want to open up their homes during COVID. So these kids are living 5 to 18 in group homes. And, you know, think of it like, you know, you're going to school all the time and you have a roommate, but they do have staff on there providing the kids there, but they don't do a lot of life skills. So we're kind of starting at the beginning. And most of the kids that come to Angel Reach, we're really, like you say, Jean, their last stop. And everything that's kind of come to fruition was out of their hands from the time pretty much that they were born. And now, you know, we're having to start all over. So
They're pretty vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, they're vulnerable when they come to us. So counseling became a really important piece of what we do. And just building the trust with them so that they will, number one, stay with us. It's a 4-year program, so they can stay up to 4 years. Not everyone stays that long, you know, they're 18. And if you remember back when you guys were 18, you know, you probably don't want anybody telling you what to do. Well, occasionally we have to do that with them. They do have curfew in the first level when they come in. It's 24/7 staff. And hopefully our goal is to get them to move on to the next 2 tiers of housing. And then they've got a whole lot more independence. So, yeah, so we continue to grow, and I mean, these funds will help us with our programming. That is the most important thing we do, including the housing and all of that. You guys know how important the housing is. It's part of what we do.
And Danny Signorelli, one of our developers.
Oh, really?
Supporter.
Yeah, sorry about this, guys.
And, you know, is gonna work towards getting a group of builders together to maybe help get some homes built. So we're hoping that we can be a part of that too, to help
Okay.
do what we do best.
Yes, so that is, I brought I have a bigger one, I'm sorry guys, we can pass this around if you'd like, but it's basically 4 acres. Why don't we just pass it around? It's 4 acres, and this is what Signorelli is helping. They are managing all of the infrastructure build, you know, utilities, roads, you guys know that. And then we're hoping that early quarter next year, we'll be starting to build 24 duplexes. Phase 1 is actually gonna be about 9. It's continuing to grow, but that's what our first phase is. We gotta get the programming and everything behind the housing and do it right and figure it out, so.
And we currently have a girls' home, level 2, the bridge, on this property. So we're definitely under construction right now. But I wanted to share that Jean and I started out both as volunteers. Jean started out as a driver, and I started out in the food pantry. And just, you know, I can't speak for her, but for myself, you know, as I started to volunteer and started the food pantry, we supplement the income of close to between 130 and 150 kinship families, excuse me, a month. The pantry is open every Tuesday. We have volunteers that come on Monday. We do get a small amount of food donated to us from the Montgomery County Food Bank on Mondays. Volunteers will empty the truck. We don't have any, you know, say over what we get. So if we get, you know, a pallet of corn, I mean, what are we gonna do with that? But we'll do something with it. So we're always looking for people that wanna do a food drive for us, especially during COVID. The supermarkets the shelves were, it was hard. And we had to reach out to our volunteers and see, because a lot of our young adults that live in our homes were either furloughed, some got COVID, or, you know, they just lost their jobs. And so, you know, comfortably we can house between 24 and 25 in our 4 homes. And that's a lot of kids that are out of work, and we need laundry detergent, cleaning supplies, food. You know, once they get a job or they're going to school and working, they do pay rent. Angel Reach is all about giving a helping hand, not a handout, because we're teaching these life skills. So, you know, they will be assigned with a budget coach, they will have a mentor. We will teach them how to read their paychecks, how to do their taxes. These are all things that you think about what your parents or whoever was a guide for you as you were growing up did for you. these kids don't have it. So that's where our volunteers come in. So if any of you, we definitely have a wait list right now for tutors and budget coaches, but if you're ever interested in considering mentorship, the average age that we would really like is over 25. We ask for a minimum of a 1-year commitment. We understand that people get transferred, life happens, so we're workable with that. It's an organic match. We would bring you in and try to have you, first you would do training to understand this vulnerable population. These are kids that don't trust adults because every adult that's come into their life has kind of in some way not shown up. I don't really like to use the failed them, but it is true. And they have a hard time interacting with adults. So it is a process, but the mentoring is so valuable to them. And after you do training, I would place you at a girls' night out, which meets twice a month, at a guys' night out, which also meets twice a month. That's a great place to get to know these young adults, and they start to see and recognize that you're showing up. And also, like tonight, we're doing a game night, and I have 3 potential volunteers that are coming at 6 o'clock. We're doing a fire pit outside, s'mores. We had some volunteers that donated Christmas cookies, a little bit extra. And yesterday, I had a whole group that donated, and every young adult got cookies we're doing like the 7 days of Christmas, got cookies for their own personal, in their room. But the game night tonight, we're gonna do, like I said, this fire pit, and this is a great way for these potential mentors to just visit. And we try to tell our mentors, for like the first 9 months, you're gonna be pulling the sled, okay? Because they're paying attention to you, but they're learning how to communicate with you. Some connect right away, and some don't. And the connection has to be on your end as well as our young adults end too. So that's an opportunity. We teach Monday night life skills classes. From 6 to 7, our young adults receive a meal from 5:30 to 6. We would love it if anybody is a cook here and would like to come up and make a meal or make a meal at home and then donate it and come and serve. Get to know our young adults. You don't need to be a teacher to teach a life skills. We have a whole list of life skills, but sometimes we meet volunteers that have walked in the same shoes as our young adults. And when they can come and inspire and let these kids know that, I maybe had it worse than you or the same as you, and they can see that. We don't go too deep into it, but that is a big inspiration for our young adults. And you'd be surprised when someone does that, the communication just opens up right away. We actually had this happen last week. So, but you could think about, we have a gentleman that came to me back in August, and he was a car, he worked for BMW, a mechanic, for 10 years. And so God led him to Angel Reach. And I knew right away where I was gonna plug him in, what's under the hood class. So some of our clients are saving for a car with their budget coach and their mentors guiding them. And we had 2 young adults that brought their cars, and this gentleman was able to go out and show them everything. I even learned how to change my belt or know that my belt in my car needed to be replaced. So it's things like that, and our volunteers bring the best ideas to us. We are so open to hearing anything you have to say. So, and there's lots of other opportunities too. I did want to let you know our kinship side of the program is birth to 18, and when Child Protective Services connects with them and they make the decision that they're going to take in these kids, on average at Angel Reach, a kinship family looks like 3 or 4 kids. The parent may have been a grandparent, 2 grandparents, but a lot of times it's one. It could be, a cousin, a distant cousin, an aunt, an uncle, a family friend as a kinship parent. Some are on the poverty line or below the poverty line. And once they want to take these kids in, right? Because if they've been in the system themselves, they know that these kids may get split up. So once they do that, they're kind of deer in the headlights. And they're like, oh my gosh, I said yes, but I'm just barely paying my water bill and this bill and that, and I have 1 bed, and what can I do? And that's where Child Protective Services brings them to Angel Reach, connects them with our kinship director, Patricia Johnson. We send out a social worker to do an assessment of the home. If they need additional beds, if they need, they could have an 18-month-old, a 5-year-old, a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old. Well, and they may have only gotten to this grandparent with bags or the clothes they wore to bed that night. And all of a sudden, the 16-year-old is saying, I have to do a PowerPoint. And it's like, what's a PowerPoint? That's where we bring in volunteers to help these families. If they need laptops, back to school supplies, we do drives, all of this stuff. So thank you for the time I know it's a lot, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what is under the umbrella of Angel Reach.
Yeah, but again, I want to say we could not do what we do without them. Seriously, it means a lot. So go straight to the kids.
Well, I just do fun.
Any
part.
questions?
Yeah, do you have any questions for them?
Thank you for all that you do.
Yeah.
Jean's right. We couldn't. If I could tell you what the last 2 weeks have been like, especially since Tiara, when she reached out to me, we started early in September. God is so good because He's bringing forth so many people that want to help, and it's just amazing what people are doing. And we had a Bible study group that made these craft wreaths for the young adults' rooms so that they could have a little Christmas in their rooms. They don't have anything that belongs to them when they come to Angel Reach. So that's something that we want to help with, and we do that with our volunteers and our supporters. So thank you.
Well, we have about 200, with mortgage, we have about 230, 260, 230 people. And with help from some of our vendors, we raised just over $42,000.
What? Oh!
Because there was a little bit that already came with that, right? So it pushed it just
Oh
right over.
my gosh, no way. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing.
It was our pleasure. They always say when you're giving, you get a lot more back than what you're giving. And we did. And we did. But we're in an amazing housing market. We work for an amazing company, and we were all very, very blessed. And it was just important to us to do something to share that.
This is just unbelievable. This is unbelievable. One of the biggest reasons why I'm at Angel Reach and why I get out there in the community, and I know Jean too, is because this could be any one of us. I see that all the time. It could be any one of us. And I want you to know, when these kids are around us, I want to share one thing with you. We gave out a wish list for Christmas. And some of them couldn't even fill out the wish list because their anxiety and all this stuff is being moved from placement to placement, being homeless, sleeping in a car or an abandoned building or the woods up in Conroe. But when we gave out this wish list last year, and it happened again this year, somebody wrote on the wish list last year that all they wanted was a hug. It was wants, needs, what would you like, and all they wrote was a hug. This year, someone said, I don't need anything. I sat with a young man who came to us, and he's a senior in high school, and I tried to sit with him, and he said, ma'am, I don't want to be disrespectful. And he said, I just can't think about this right now. And he said, I know there's people that want to help. He said, but I've come to the point where I just don't look forward to anything. And I'm not trying to say oh, the whole sympathy thing, but this is what goes on every day in this community. And so we couldn't be where we are at Angel Reach without our community. And this is just absolutely, I'm blown away.
We like to win. We don't play to lose.
That is very
First and last.
Well, you have blown us away.
Yeah,
And we're so
really.
grateful. Thank you.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you coming in and taking the time to
Now that's
tell us
me.
about
They
it.
shut it off.
Again, hopefully as a company,
Yeah,
we can
God
help
bless
with
all
houses
of you.
built.
Thank
And
you
Yes,
so
yes,
much.
yes.
Have a
Oh my
wonderful
gosh.
Christmas. Then
Yes,
thank you to
Merry
all of you
Christmas to
guys.
y'all.
Amazing.